Oh, Dory? Dory? Here's me filming a video and then I get distracted by my dog. Hold on a second. You can get some dog content in here. There you go. You know, that's my video, but now you're the focus. Here you go. What is going on, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, because it is good to feel good. And I'm outside in my garden today because, do you know what? It's a nice warm day. You know, I could be in my room filming a video, but at the same time, I thought it'd be really nice to take advantage of the fresh air, and given how nice and warm it is today. But also worth mentioning how it's a complete rarity that we get nice warm weather like this in this country, consistently that is. So today is one of those days, and what I'm doing with this video is discussing something that I got done, and that is in the topic of tattoos. Now, I want to say this is a new tattoo, but in actuality it's the newest tattoo that I got. But just when I got it done, I never got around to filming a video about it, so apologies for the procrastination. But here we are today, we are doing a video about my new tattoo that I got done last year, and yeah, here it is, the one that's on my leg. Yeah, no, for the longest time I have been wanting to get a tattoo elsewhere on my body. I know I've got the majority of them on my arms, I've got a little one on my chest, but I thought to myself, do you know what, let's go for the leg, and like, you know, getting some stuff on there and start showing it off. And you know, every time I'm wearing shorts now, it's like, oh, I've got a tattoo on my leg now. That just feels, it does still feel like a bit weird all this time, and like, you know, just you know, take my trousers off and it's like, I've got a tattoo on my leg. Where did that come from? But anyway, let's have a little discussion about this tattoo and, like, you know, how I went about it, and also I'll talk about, you know, the questions that I always ask in my tattoo videos. So let's go there. So this tattoo came about after like a long while of not getting any tattoos done whatsoever. So the last tattoo that I got done was in November of 2019 before getting this one done. And then of course the pandemic happened, so it meant that, you know, obviously with us being in lockdown, that, you know, especially with tattoo artists, you know, they weren't able to go to the studio and, you know, tattoo their clients. So I think for the most part of the pandemic, I did actually inquire about the, you know, I think it was November of 2020 about a tattoo, but then of course second lockdown happened, so it was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I thought to myself, if I am to get a new tattoo, I might just wait until restrictions ease, and like, and then obviously when everything finished with like COVID restrictions, and it was like, yeah, everyone's free to go get your new tattoo and that. So I would eventually inquire about a new tattoo, I think it was September of 2021, yeah, that's right. And my idea was I wanted to get a tattoo around November of 2021, as it would have coincided with the anniversary of when I got my first tattoo done, which of course was this lovely little panda. Unfortunately, they didn't have any availability for that time, so, but then as an alternative, they said they had a slot in February of 2022 that was free, and I was like, I'll book that. I'll happily, you know, book that up, you know, pay my deposit, and then, so what it was going to be was a, you know, trip down south, you know, stop off in London to begin with, and then head on back to my hometown of Leighton Buzzard to Rising Phoenix to go and get my tattoo. Because I will be completely honest, since I've been living up here in North Yorkshire, well, it's been over 2 years that I've been here now, but one thing that I never really got round to doing is checking out local artists. I know that sounds bad for me as someone with tattoos, because you're like, you know, you want to see if there's someone local who you really like, and you know, if they could be able to do, like, you know, do tattoos for you on and off. But yeah, I just never got around to inquiring with other, like, you know, studios and artists. So my idea was, so when I would go down, it would be going back home to Leighton Buzzard, going to Rising Phoenix, which is the studio where I've got pretty much the vast majority of my tattoos done over the years. All but 2 of my tattoos I've got done at Rising Phoenix, and I thought to myself, you know, I've really got to know quite a few of the artists there over the years, and, you know, have some really great, you know, interactions with them, some good conversations and whatnot. I thought to myself, it was going to be really nice to just go back there and, you know, get another tattoo done for, like, you know, the first time in so long. It was, sure, it was a, you know, a day trip back to my hometown, and, you know, sure enough I would, you know, stay in London to begin with, then get on the train to Leighton Buzzard, but it was just, it was really nice to go back, even if it was just a case of me just going there literally for a tattoo. It was worth it. And then it's also worth mentioning the artist in question who did this tattoo for me. She's actually done 2 of my tattoos before, and that is Holly. She's done the angel wing that's on my arm here, and then she's also done the wolf that's on my arm here as well. So I thought to myself, that's another artist who's done a hat trick of tattoos on me, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really nice to, you know, catch up with Holly. She's just recently had another child as well, so it was just, you know, great to catch up, and, you know, we had some good conversations and whatnot. But yeah, it was lovely to go back and, you know, for old time's sake and get a new tattoo. It's just always lovely. So anyway, I'm now at that point in the video where I am going to talk about the tattoo in question and, you know, ask myself some questions. And yeah, that's what I usually do in my tattoo videos, so let's go from there. So first of all, what is the tattoo and what does it represent? So on my leg it is Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot, and also their companions respectively, Sparks the Dragonfly and Aku Aku respectively. Now, I was a child of the late 90s, so back in the late 90s you were either one of those people who had either a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation 1, and I was in the latter camp. And you know, I think also around that time there was a lot of 3D platformers that came out back then, and sure enough, Crash Bandicoot was one game that I would always play, or like, you know, the games in that series. And then also Spyro the Dragon was also something I really just loved playing. If I'm gonna be a bit biased, I think I enjoyed Spyro more over Crash Bandicoot, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment of either franchises. And I think just like, you know, also growing up like throughout the years, I know obviously, you know, as time went on, you know, both franchises, you know, went off and did their own things, and then, you know, just in the last 7 years or so, they've both had their respective remaster trilogies, which have just been a joy to play. And like, I think my habit is every year, at least once, I go back and play both the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, and it's just, it just takes me back, it does. And like, I remember, you know, I was buzzing when they announced the Crash Bandicoot remaster. I think that would have been about 2016 when they announced it, and then I thought, it's only a matter of time before they do a Spyro trilogy. And sure enough, when they announced the Spyro trilogy, I just lost my marbles, and I thought, you know what, it is going to be so great to play, and it's just, oh, it was great stuff. And it's also worth mentioning as well, going back to that, like, you know, me playing video games from like a young age, I have really enjoyed playing video games like in my spare time. It's like, I guess it's fair to say it's, you know, it's one of my favourite pastimes, and there are, you know, all sorts of video games that I've enjoyed playing over the years. Some of my favourites in question are, I really enjoyed Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 7. I'm trying to think of some other games off the top of my head, but there are just some great games out there. And like, you know, I know in the media, like, you know, you get some games that, you know, will cause a bit of controversy, but at the same time, those are games that, you know, really strike a chord with certain people, and it just, you know, it's like video games are a form of escapism, and, you know, we get to control, like, you know, all these cool, fun characters, and, you know, do whatever the hell we like in the game, and it's just great stuff. And it's worth mentioning as well that I've always considered, like, you know, my love of video games, like, you know, maybe trying to introduce it into, like, you know, content one day. You know, I know a lot of people who play games these days do, like, you know, streaming on YouTube, even streaming on Twitch. I have contemplated the latter so many times, and I think one day I'll just get to a point where I'm like, sod it, I'm gonna go and play video games on Twitch and, you know, live stream. And I know I've got a few friends who do Twitch streaming, so you know, it'd be nice to kind of follow in their footsteps and, you know, engage with, like, you know, my viewers and, you know, other people on a different platform, but at the same time, just, you know, it's just enjoying it at the same time. But yeah, now I guess the real reason why I got this tattoo done kind of just does relate to me being a bloody big fan of video games. Secondly, how long did it take to get done? So this took about, I'd probably say about 4.5 hours to get done overall. So I always distinctly remember the outline took about at least 2 hours to get done. Then me and Holly took a 15-minute break, and then after that we, you know, just cracked on with you know, the rest of the shading of the tattoo. And I always distinctly remember I was only booked in for 4 hours that day with Holly, and I've got to say, I'm really fortunate to Holly for, you know, sticking it out a bit longer and, you know, waiting until the tattoo was finished, because I think the original plan was I may have just gone down to get the outline done first and then come back later to do the shading, but I've got to commend Holly for, you know, continuing on and, you know, completing the shading, even going longer than what we originally had booked. And yeah, I was really happy with the outcome, and I'm sure Holly was really happy with the outcome too. It's just, I think I gotta say, I really commend it when artists, you know, take the time to, you know, perfect their masterpieces for their tattoos. And, you know, I really am thankful to Holly for, you know, sticking around that little bit longer so that we could get the tattoo done and completed on the day. Thank you very much for that, Holly. Next question is, did it hurt? And the answer to that question is yes, definitely did hurt. I know I've got a really good pain threshold when it comes to getting tattoos done, especially like the ones on my arms, because it's just like, you know, it's just on my arm, you know, it's very kind of like fleshy, it's easier to get done. But I noticed, especially on my leg, it was a case of where the tattoo, I think what it was, because it was on my leg, on my shin, I think there was a lot of bony bits, especially on the shin bone itself, where it was like, wherever we were getting to that point, it was like, ooh, I could just like, I could feel my leg twitching while she was like, you know, tattooing. And it was, that was a tough challenge, that was, getting that done. But, you know, again, there was a lot of twitching, but, you know, I stuck it out, you know, and it made me think, you know, if I can get one tattoo done on my leg, I can surely get another tattoo done on my leg. And funnily enough, I was originally thinking of doing Spyro on one leg and Crash Bandicoot on the other, but in the end I just decided to make it easier and probably to save myself a bit of time is to just do it all on one leg, and sure enough, I'm quite happy with how that outcome was. And the final question is, am I going to get more tattoos done? The obvious answer to that is yes, I will definitely consider getting some more tattoos done. Now, at this point in time, I've been living up here for just over 2 years now, and I know there are some artists based where I live, but again, I've just never, you know, plucked up the courage to go and, you know, inquire about a new tattoo somewhere at one of my local studios. And again, I guess that's one of the reasons why I went back to Leighton Buzzard to Rising Phoenix. So yeah, but if I were to do like another tattoo, I definitely would inquire with one of the local artists here, or I might just, you know, do another day trip somewhere to go out and get a tattoo done, or even, you know, in the off chance on my travels I might go and get a tattoo done. And you never know, I'm going somewhere later this year where I might be able to get a tattoo done, but you never know, never say never. But definitely I would like to consider getting some more tattoos done. And, you know, whereabouts on my body could I go and get my tattoos done? Well, I could go anywhere on my body and get my tattoos done, but just, it's just all about kind of contemplating what I want to get done next, and also, you know, who will be available, you know, what artists will be available, who I inquire with to be able to do said tattoo. But you know what, it's all about inquiring, it's all about asking questions, and you'll get someone with that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. So again, sorry for the belated tattoo video, but it's here at the end of the day, you're welcome. But definitely I will make sure that when I do get a new tattoo done, that I will do a video, you know, shortly after I've gotten it done to, you know, keep you guys in the loop, which again is what I should have done last year, but procrastination is a wonderful thing. No, it's not, Ollie. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. And again, you know, there might be some more tattoos on my arms, you know, in the near future, or anywhere else on my body in the near future. You never know. But thank you very much for watching anyway, guys, and as always, I will leave you with some advice, and that is always to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.